Good morning, my name is Ralph Wetherell, and we have 4 in the class here, so welcome to you all. And I have committed the first error of not being technically advanced. I did not have a PowerPoint thinking this was going to be in-house today, but Liz is trying to get it uploaded into Google Docs, and we may well have it for you before we get going. So we'll get into the presentation and hopefully have the package out to you before we finish up or get too far along. But what the topic is today is prospecting, and under the guise of a program that's a proven program called Ninja Selling. Okay, and we have in the room here, we have packages, and again, I'll hopefully get them out to you or get them on the overhead shortly. But what Ninja Selling is a program that is so simple and so basic. When I finish up today, you guys will look at each other and say, why did we come here? Okay, why did I spend my time here today? Okay. In the last 5 minutes of the program, I'm going to give you something, the secret sauce, if you would, for why this is so simple and basic, but yet it doesn't work for most people. Okay, does that make sense? So if you hang with me for the hour when we get through this, again, there's nothing new, nothing fresh in here other than the last couple minutes. But they're so critical to the success of this program, and it's something that people don't do, okay? So Ninja Selling, what is Ninja Selling? Ninja Selling is a sales process, a prospecting process, if you would, that was developed by a gentleman by the name of Larry Kendall, and this is on the first 2 pages, by Larry Kendall out in Fort Collins, Colorado. It's the program itself, the seeds of the program are almost 27 years old. Structured program has been in place close to 25 years old. All right, I'm just reading something here. We're getting those packages out, so that's good. The program's been around. This September, my wife and I, Terry, had the opportunity to go to Fort Wayne, Colorado, and to see Larry Kendall present this program. And what was neat about it is we had the opportunity, the program was held in his office. So this is a working real estate office that has practiced Ninja Selling for 25 years. So it was very neat to see that this was in operation there. We saw the success, we saw the proof, if you would. Okay. And what I'm excited about today is that we are looking at taking this program and more or less making it our training program, making it our culture, if you would. So when we get new agents in, or we look to train up agents, the Ninja Seller program is what we're pushing. Okay. And when you get that, when you have a corporate culture that says this is what we use, you create synergy. So right now, in my Somerville office that I'm managing in Goose Creek, this is what we've been practicing all year. Okay. This is a program. Every Monday morning when I hold my meetings, this is what we talk about. Okay. And it is, since September, we've really got serious. Since we've come back from the Ninja Selling, we've really got serious with it. So that's where it's starting to click. It's a program, you'll see immediate success with it because it's contacting your people, but your long-term success comes 4 to 6 months down the road of repeated contacts. Does that make sense? Okay. So Ninja is not just, here's what I do during my real estate business. You know, the old adage about church on Sunday, we go to church on Sunday, we act one way, and the rest of the week we do what we want to do. Selling, if you do it right, is everything. It's when you go out to dinner on Friday night, or you go to the movies. Okay? Your real estate and your personal life become one. Okay? And for most of you that have been in this business for a long time, that's the way your business is now. Okay? You might try to separate it, but you're really not successful doing that, because your people are out about the community. Your sellers, your buyers, your prospects. So we all interact with them as we're out and about, and that's what Ninja is. Okay? So it's got all these Ninja Sellings. Is it up there?
Yeah, that's what I just got highlights.
Oh, okay.
What do I have to do?
Did this download?
It did, but it's not on that.
Okay.
We've got people trying to join that, and the maximum is 16. So people are trying to join and it's full.
Ooh, okay, okay. So we may have to redo it. Well, you're recording this. So
Yeah, I forgot to record it.
Yeah, I recorded
Oh, okay, good.
Boy kept reminding me. So Ninja's a lifestyle. Ninja, when it's worked correctly, becomes fun. It's about balancing your life, and it's about fun. We're going to skip over to the third page because I want to get into the meat of this. Here. So the meat of this is the Ninja selling, and here's what it is. It is high contact with a smaller group of people. High contacts to a smaller group of people. Okay? And there's many ways you can build your business. You can go out today, and in our marketing department, say, we'll send out 3,000 pieces a month of marketing. Okay? That's low contact to a high number of people. Okay? Meaning that you could touch those people 3 or 4 or 5 times a year through a postcard, and how you win that game is possibly one of those people of the big number has a desire to buy or sell, and you catch them right at the right moment. Okay? There's internet-based business, and that's a successful model. But the Ninja selling model is high contact with a smaller group of people. Okay? So step one on this program is to go out and create a database. Okay? And in that database, you have your name, email, phone numbers, basic information on your clients. Okay? You have all that information, and you start your database. Ninja Selling preaches 200 people in your database. Okay? So when you think about it, that's not a lot of people to keep track of. Does that make sense? Okay? We're not looking at hundreds of people. We want a maximum group of 200 people. Okay? So if you take that premise of 200 people, you want to get in bed with those 200 people. You want to know those people like your children. Okay? Birthdays, anniversary days, you want to know what's going on in their lives. Okay? So here's the first question, and it was an eye-opener for me when we started this up in Summer of Goose Creek. And I can't have a show of hands online, but I would ask you the question, do you have an active database today? Okay? And I asked this question to my 2 officers in Summer of Goose Creek, and I said, if I was giving you $100 today to bring me in a database with names, phone numbers, and addresses today of 200 people, would you or could you do it? Okay? And I just give me a nod here, a yes or no. Okay? Okay? What I had in this group, it was astounding. We had that Monday morning, we had a total of 38 people in 2 classes. I had 4 people, 2 in each office, that legitimately said, I've got 200 people that I could do a mailing list to today. Okay? It was an eye-opener because I just assumed everybody had a database. Step one on Ninja Selling is you have got to have your foundation. You've got to have a database. And if you look in the handout on page Exhibit 1, okay, I think it's 4 or 5 pages back, Exhibit 1 is an index card. Okay, and we make these up, and they're front and back of an index card, a 5x7 card, and at its very basic core, this is what you use. Okay? Each one of your 200 people, you have one of these cards filled out on. Okay? Does that make sense? Any questions on that?
You might want to explain to the people out there more about the cards since they can't see it.
Okay. What I've got, and again, the first step is 200 people into a database. That's key. That's your foundation. None of this works if you don't have that. I will say, though, and it says in the handout, do not wait to get 200 people. If you have 40 people, if you have 50 people, if you have 100, start Ninja Selling. Okay? It's not that you have to have 200. But what I've got on the exhibit is an index card, a front and back, with the name, the spouse names, the children's names, important dates, and then a record of your contacts, which is what kind of contacts do I have with these people over time. Okay? This can certainly be electronic. Okay? Outlook is a great database. We have something we've been playing with within the offices called Blueprint. Okay? There's some free databases out there electronically. The one thing you need to understand about Ninja Selling is in order to make it work, until you get comfortable with it, it needs to be visual. Okay? The reason you do these cards is not because we want to kick back to the 70s and 80s. They want you to do these cards so you can see them and you can flip through them and you can take them everywhere you go. Okay? most people are not in tune enough with the electronic media to have all your contacts downloaded on your iPhone, or to have the internet available so you always have these names in front of you. Until you get comfortable with your database, I would encourage you to use the index cards so you're filling it out and you flip through it. Okay? I do this program. This is what I do when I recruit. My prospecting day is exactly what I'm telling you to do with your buyers and sellers. So this is what I use, and I've got 114 cards like this filled out right now with all the agents in town that I'm attempting to recruit. So when I call, I just flip through. Okay. So step one, foundation. I can't enforce that enough. And what I'm finding is that we have gotten away from the basics of a database. Okay. So I would ask you to review that personally, and if it's true, take that away today that you need to spend some time doing that. Okay. Step 2 and 3 are what we call a hot list and a warm list. Okay. And again, these are very visual in nature. So if you do step 1 and you have an index cards of 200 people, okay, if we have 200 people on cards, your next step is to say, okay, how many of those 200 people have a real estate need? Okay? That's your hot list. Your hot list is exhibit 2 here. If you look back in the package, exhibit 2 is a hot list. You are to write down those people that in the next 30 to 90 days are going to do business with you. They're either going to buy a house or they're going to sell a house. They're your current people that you have now. Okay? Again, this is very preliminary, but it's a list that says hot list, buyers and sellers ready to buy or list with me within the next 30 to 90 days. It's key that in starting this program, you fill this out, okay? Because you focus, what expands is what you focus on. So if you're seeing this, you're looking at 8 to 10 or 12 names, hopefully. If you're carrying the sheet around and you have no names on it, what does that tell you? I got a problem. I got no business. Okay? So even if it's empty and you're carrying it around, it's telling you, God, I got to get something on the sheet. Okay? Does that make sense? A lot of discussions and questions. Should your active buyers under contract and your active sellers be on this sheet? I think the answer is yes, because they need to be top of mind in working through the sales and the listing. Okay? So this is your current people. Okay? And think about this. You're taking a buyer out today showing property in the hustle and bustle of our busy days, and the buyers don't find the property that they like. You come into the office sitting on your desk for 12 people. You just left the house, and you look at Bob and Mary Jones right here. Clicks. The house I just left is their house because you see it. You know what they're looking for. Okay? So again, visual in nature. The next sheet, Exhibit 3, is what we call a warm list. Okay? And a warm list is of your 200 people, who are the buyers and sellers that are going to buy or list with me, but they don't know it yet. Okay? And I'll explain that in a minute. Monitor their pain or pleasure by asking 4 questions when you speak with them. Okay? Now, this is the heart of the Ninja program. If I've got 200 people in my database, and I don't have high regular contact with them, I don't know anything about them. If I just have 200 names and I talk to them 4 times a year, I never get down into bed with them. I keep using that term, into bed, but that's the relationship you want. Okay? So what happens in everybody's lives that we interact with right now, things are going on. Agreed? Okay? New homes, okay? Children asking for money, okay? Divorces, new children, retirement, downsizing, job transfers, okay? Every one of those is a potential need for real estate. Agreed? Okay? How do you find that out? Are people going to come to you and say, hey, I got a real estate need?
Hello?
They're not going to do that. Okay? Unless you get in.
I'll call you right back, okay? All right.
All right. So that's the Ninja cell, right? Here's what the Ninja philosophy is. Your warm list, when you talk to people, Tell me your name again.
Sammy.
Sammy, I'm not good at this.
That's okay.
Sammy, if you're on my list, you're 200. I would have contact with you, and when you and I interact on a phone call or a phone call,
Excuse me 1 second. Whoever that is on the telephone, would you please? Please not do that.
Okay.
And they're saying they can't hear very well, so.
Okay. Sammy, so I interact with you.
Right.
And being type A personalities as we are in real estate, what we want to do when we sit down and meet with people, what do we want to do? We want to tell them and we want to talk to them. Okay? In some cases, talk at them. What Ninja is a series of questions that you ask people to discover their needs. Okay? How do you find out about a job transfer? Well, you ask somebody about their occupation. How's the job going? Sammy, how's the job going? Ralph, it's going great. I just got a job transfer. Okay? And my new job is an hour away from where I'm living now. That's a red flag. Okay? If we ask questions and listen, we discover. Okay? And this is my biggest fault. When I interact with people, I want to talk. And I want you to shut up so I can talk again. Okay? And I don't listen. It is the hardest thing I do in Ninja selling, which is to be quiet, ask a question, and wait for the answer. If you get into this program and you understand it, you will find yourself talking and not listening. You'll find yourself asking questions and not listening to the answers. Okay, it's a very difficult situation. Okay? But when you ask questions, if you look on the sheet, you ask the Ninja questions are what we call Ford questions. Ford questions, F-O-R-D. Okay? Family, occupation, recreation, dreams. Every time you interact with somebody in your Ninja list, you ought to be asking what we call Ford questions. Okay, Sammy, how's the family?
Doing fine.
Doing fine. They got a daughter who's expecting. Tell me about that. How far along is she?
Well, if she is, I'm going to choke her because she just got married.
How's the job? We talked about the job transfer. What are you doing this weekend for fun? Okay. I find out Sammy's a shagger. Okay.
Yeah.
Now I know something. Okay. So when I interact with him, I say, did you get out to the shag contest this weekend? Okay. I'm now getting into flow with him. Okay. And flow can be good or bad. Flow might be Sammy's going through a divorce. I call him and I say, Sammy, how's it going? Man, it's terrible. I just got separated from my wife, and I'm certainly not wishing that on you. Is that a real possible real estate need? Sure. Man, that could be some great future business. Okay? Now, what I don't do is I don't say, well, Sammy, when we get that house on the market, you got the downside of getting an apartment because you got child support. What I do in a loving, caring way is I interact with him, but I make a note about it. So when I call him to, and he goes on my warm list, okay? He doesn't, in a separation and emotion, does he think he has a real estate need? No. But you do, don't you?
No.
Okay? A family that has their second child and lives in a 2-bedroom house, and they've got a boy and they're having a daughter, in the excitement of being pregnant and having a second child, do you think they have a real estate need?
Right.
You think they know it? Probably not. They're not thinking about it. You are. Okay? They will click sometime, but you write it down. Somebody who says that you meet out at dinner that says, my cousin's moving in town. Okay? In Ninja, you don't jump on and say, oh, give him my card, because if you're in flow with them, they got your card. You say, would you tell them to call me, or could I call them? Or you follow up later with it. Okay? You see how this works? You've got 200 people that you become so ingrained with. You know their birthdays. You know their anniversary days. You know what's going on in their lives, good, bad, and indifferent. Okay? And your whole prospecting centers around fulfilling them those needs that you see. And you make people feel good when you talk to them. Okay? This is Liz's hot button. Of the 8 people that presented out in Fort Wayne, Colorado, of the 8 people, 6 of them said, I call my people and sing happy birthday to them. 6 of the 8 salespeople out in Fort Wayne, Colorado said every time, now they were quick. The guys, they said, I don't call Joe. I call Joe's wife. I don't call Joe and sing happy birthday to Joe. I do his wife. Okay?
I sing to all of them.
Sing all of them. Okay? That's an endearing trait. Okay? Some of these people, you got a birthday there. One guy said, here's what I do. 3 days before the wife's birthday, I call the husband and say, Sammy, guess what? 3 days is your wife's birthday. What are you doing for her? Okay? Now, he said the first year I do that, it's very uncomfortable. He says, next year when I call Sammy back 3 days before, you know what he says? Ralph, I know, we're going out for a weekend. Okay? We don't wait a year to call him, but you follow up on that. 3 days after a wife's birthday, you call the wife, especially on your birthday or on your anniversary. You see how this is? This is no different than a friendship you have. Okay? That's what Ninja selling is getting a group of people that you have friendships with. Okay? So we have a hot sheet. People are ready to do something today. We have a warm sheet. And again, visual, you write it down. Okay?
Tell us again what the FORD questions are.
FORD. Ninja is about asking 4 questions. FORD. Family, occupation, recreation, dreams. Okay? Now, you don't ask somebody, Sammy would think I'm weird if I go to him and say, tell me your dreams. Okay? If he's not laying on a sofa, he's going to think I'm weird. Okay? Sammy, what are your plans in retirement? What do you long to do this summer? Okay, those are dreams. Okay? If I find out Sammy's a boater, when I interact with him, I'm talking about boating stuff.
Right.
You see this? Okay? So that's the first part of it. Here's the truth about Ninja. You can't do this and do this at the level that I'm suggesting you do it at with 200 people. Okay? There is no way that I can have the interactions I just described to you with 200 people. Okay? But yet, Ralph, you said 200 list. Okay? You will have people that will come into your core group and go out of your core group. A buyer who buys a house may be in your core group, your hot list, or your warm list for a very brief time, and then they flow back out to your 200. Okay? In theory, a productive agent will have anywhere from 75 to 95 people on their hot list, warm list, and their core groups. So when you come into work, you are focusing on a group of 95 people. But they're quantifiable people. They're not somebody you met this weekend. They're people you sold a house to 10 years ago. They're people you went to high school with. They're people that are friends of the family. They're people that have real estate needs. Okay? Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. The reason you do 200, Ninja preaches mailing out to this specific group of 200 people. In Fort Wayne, Colorado, they say we preach 3 times a month. Okay, now I can't wrap my head around that, because if I'm close to you and I send you something 3 times a month, okay, and here I go changing the program, and they got a proven program out there. They do 3 mail-outs a month. Okay, but now here's what Ninja preaches: when you send me something, if I'm on your list of 200, when you send me something, it's something of value. Okay. It's something of value. You send me something that makes me pause and say, I'm glad Ralph sent that to me. Okay? That's not a card that says, be my realtor, or let me be your realtor. Okay? And in our offices, we've spent the last 3 or 4 months creating items of value. Okay? With the cold weather, we just did a mail out, winterizing your house, tips for winterizing your house. Okay? And we made a mailer out of it. Okay? Back a couple months ago, when it started to get cold and the grass started to get brown, tips for winterizing your yard. Okay? Talking about fats and pre-emergent. I mean, it was something, when Terry brought it home, my wife, I read it. You know, I did some things in my yard. Something of value. Okay? So if you're sending me something, and it's something that has some meat to it, I'm thanking you. Does that make sense? Okay, so you do 200, so you have a group that you can mail to, because at 200 you get bulk mail. Okay? Make sense? Okay. So if we do that, have I said anything that's new to anybody? Okay. It's what we do, okay? Track your week. Look at number 4 in the handout. I think it's number 4. Number 4 in the handout. And this is critical. When you start to make change, you know, everybody will tell you different things. Well, in order to have a change that's effective, you have to do it for 28 days.
Tell them what number 4 is.
Okay. Number 4 is nothing more than a weekly planner. It has Monday through Sunday, 8 o'clock to 6 o'clock on it. It's just a blank planner that you can get anywhere. Okay? Why is this so important? Okay? This is so important because when we get busy, this is not important. When we're out showing property and listing properties and doing our busy days, prospecting becomes secondary. Okay? And we've all seen that. You get a lot of business going because you made phone calls, you're doing open houses, you're working with buyers and sellers, and when you get deals, the first thing that stops is your prospecting. Because no one calls you. What I want to accomplish with this, and what you need to accomplish, is a set time every single day, 5 days a week, that is your prospecting time. And nothing gets in between you and your prospecting time. Okay? And that could be an hour and a half. Typically an hour and a half is what I recommend. But you come in, you shut your door, you close everything, you do not look at your email, you get your calls out of the way. Okay? There's a thought process in Ninja selling. It's called working on your business. Working on your business. Okay? What working on your business is something we don't spend a lot of time doing. We all work in our business. We come in today and we say, oh, I got 2 appointments, I got to do this, and I got busy work, I got an inspector. That's working in your business. Okay? Working on your business is taking the time to stand up here and look down and say, what am I doing that's working? What am I doing that's not working? Okay? And we don't do that. We get too busy. So with the weekly planner, and this was an eye-opener for me, I would encourage you to do this. Get 8 or 10 of these, and for 8 or 10 weeks, track your weekly progress. Okay? And here's the evolution for me, because I'm busy. Okay? We're all busy. I came in, and before Ninja, I was trying to make 10 calls a day. Okay? But I rationalized for myself, I don't have time. Okay? I'm too busy. I don't have time to prospect. I was finding myself calling people on my cell phone, going home, trying to set up recruiting plans. Okay? Now, hear me. Prospecting is the most important thing we do. Okay? It's the most important thing to do. So here I am, leaving Goose Creek, coming over 526 on the marked car, talking to a prospect on the phone. 50% of the time, what happens when you drive over the marked car? Your phone goes out. Okay. Now, how stupid is the most important thing I do? I'm doing while I'm driving home. Okay. So then I got serious, and I've got this, and I said, well, let me start programming it in. And here's what I did. I filled out my week. Okay. And I'm very busy. Okay. So my week's filled up. And I said, okay, where can I do my prospecting? And I looked at my holes. And I said, well, on Monday, I can do it at noon to 1:30 on Monday. Tuesday, I don't have an open until 4 o'clock, so I can do 4 to 5:30 on Tuesday. And every single day, Monday through Friday, it was a different time during the day. Because I went ahead and planned my day and then plugged in my prospecting. Does that make sense? Okay. What I realized is that was giving prospect a low priority. And in some cases, no priority. Because if it's the last thing I plug in, what's the first thing to leave? No prospecting. Okay. Where I'm at today, with few exceptions, Monday through Friday, 4 to 5:30. When I fill this out, 4 to 5:30 is my prospecting time. It's the first thing I set up every week. Okay? And what happens is it now starts to be a habit because this is where I spend my time. I know every day 4 to 5:30 is my prospecting time. It is utmost importance in my business world. Okay? Do I get it every day? No. Okay? But I get it 4 days a week consistently. Okay? But it has the number one priority in my business right now. Does that make sense? Okay. And we've got, if you got questions, Liz is watching the monitor, so if you've got something, just type them in. Okay? Very simple, very basic. Is this anything new? As Liz says 100 times, you've got to make time for prospecting. And if hundreds of times have we found ways not to do it? Yeah. Okay. Number 5 here, and I'm glad you guys out there don't have it because this is an eye-opener. This talks about the weekly routine for Ninja selling, okay? And it says, come into the office at 8 o'clock each day, okay? When I get into my office, if I get in my office 8 o'clock each day, you know who's there? Nobody. Okay? Nobody's there. Okay? My office doesn't come alive from 9:30 or 10 o'clock. Okay? And then it's, where's the coffee? Okay? This list is about creating a routine that works for you. Okay? If I'm in your sphere group and you call me at 8 o'clock in the morning, we ain't talking. Okay? If I answer the phone. Now you call me 9:30, we will chat. Okay? You've got to find a routine that works for you. But let's look at this. We talked about Ninja being about balance. Okay? Number 1 on the weekly routine, schedule 1 hour a week to plan a meeting with yourself to review your goals. Begin with the end in mind. How many times do we start a week saying, I wonder what I'm going to do this week? What are my objectives for the week? Okay? We don't. We jump in the office and we go right to work. Spend an hour of your week looking at your business model. What's working? What's not working? This weekly goals, the thing we just talked about, this will drive you crazy until you get into a routine. It'll make your life miserable if you can see that you're going to do it. So every day you got to look, every once in an hour a week, you got to look at this and say, how did that work last week? Because even though you go into Monday with your week planned, by Friday it's going to change. Okay, and you got to get control of that. You got to have control of it. Schedule time each day to exercise. Okay, Ninja's about balance. If you're rushing and you're not taking time to exercise, you're not getting the balance. So you're coming in flustered. Okay, get to the office by 8 o'clock each day. Number 3. If 8 o'clock doesn't work, try 9. If 9 doesn't work, okay. One of the traits they said in Fort Wayne, Colorado, and it's such an eye-opener. He said, you know you have a problem in your office when your agents only come in when they have an appointment. Okay? Agent comes in the office and it's 1 o'clock. He says, Ralph, I got a 2 o'clock listing appointment. And he comes into the office. He starts the day at 1 o'clock because that's when his appointment is. He's got to get ready for it. Okay? Why wasn't he there at 9 o'clock? This is a business. Okay?
Ralph, would you like to address the virtual agents that have offices at home?
Yeah, good, very good point. You know, this is not coming in the office so I can see you, so that Liz can see you. This is being true to yourself. Okay? In our environment, every office has places to come and call. If you've got to have a change of pace, I got to get out of my house and get in here. Liz has got rooms to sit down, plenty of rooms. I've got plenty of rooms. You can sit down, close the door, make some calls, work your program. Most of us are virtual in nature. We work out of our houses. Okay? And that presents challenges. For some of us, it works very well. Okay? For this to become a routine that takes teeth, you've got to find a place to go off by yourself and do it. And you may well have a place at the house that works very well for you. Okay? But you've got to commit to doing it. Okay? And if you struggle with that, I talked to a guy last week, and he said, Ralph, if I sit at home, he said, I have the best intentions, and I end up flipping the channels. So I can't get away from it. Okay? So I said, you need to get in the office and use one of the blank empty offices. Okay? So a good question. Get in the office by 8. Number 4 on this list, and this is a great idea. This will probably be something you haven't heard. Schedule 2 real estate reviews, unsolicited CMAs every week. Everybody knows what a CMA is, market analysis. When is the only time that you do CMAs?
And somebody asks you to do it.
Sammy calls me and says, Ralph, we're thinking about putting a house on the market. Can you come out and tell us what it's worth? Okay. For most real estate agents, that's the only time we do it. Okay. Your Ninja group of 200 people, 50, 60% of them are going to be homeowners. Why not call somebody up twice a week and say, Sammy, you know, I wanted to catch up with a cup of coffee. I was doing some work in your neighborhood, and I've got some values I think you might want to see. Can we get together? Insurance people do this all the time. One of my best friends is a guy that had my insurance policies, okay? And I hate it when he calls me. Ralph, I want to do the yearly review. You know what I do with him every year? I do a yearly review. That's what a CMA is. Why would you not tell a seller who doesn't want to sell his house what his house is worth? Okay? You want reasons to meet with people to have contact to get deeper relationships. Okay? In some cases, you may not want to tell them what their house is worth. But don't you have an obligation to? Sammy, I sold you that house 4 years ago. I got some tough news for you, buddy. Okay? But I'm telling you, you now have something of value. My house, I put it under Zillow. Okay? 4 or 5 times a month, I get an email from Zillow. Your house has gone up 0.05%. It's gone down. You know what I do? I open it up every time because I want to know. Don't you think your customers and clients are doing that? So why not be that person that gives the right information? Okay? Unsolicited CMA is a great idea. It's a great reason to call people. Okay?
I got a birthday call from my insurance agent yesterday. I forgot it's my birthday tomorrow. Oh, good.
Number 5, and we'll run through this a little bit quicker because most of it's commonplace. Schedule 2 hours a week for what we call customer service calls. Okay? These are your sellers that you have currently listed. These are your buyers under contract. These are your closed customers. You're following up. You know, most agents, your average agent, when they walk away from closing, you know what they want to do? Run. You know, when was the last time an agent called up a buyer 2 weeks after closing and said, Marilyn, I called to make sure everything's all right. Okay? I don't want to hear about it. But in getting Ninja, how much value is that? Marilyn telling me, well, something's not working in the house. What if I was to go fix it? If it was $30 and I fixed it? Am I now creating value that gets a customer for life? Most of your agents out there will not contact buyers after closing because they don't want to hear it. Okay? You become different. Okay? That's part of your calls. Schedule 2 hours for other calls. So there's 4 hours of calling. I'm going to finish up today by showing you a list that talks about 10 phone calls a day. Okay? In a 200 list, you want to do 10 phone calls a day, either talking with people or leaving voicemails. Okay? Send 10 thank you notes. Okay? Part of the Ninja program is 2 handwritten notes every single day. Sounds easy, doesn't it? Okay? Since I've been doing this, I might have had 5 or 6 weeks that I got 10 handwritten calls or notes a day. It's the hardest thing I do. Okay? It's also the most rewarding when somebody gets them. Okay? And in the office in marketing, we can make little fold-over cards that say, thank you, congratulations, thinking of you with the AgentOwned logo. So you have these readily available. What I try to do now is I start my morning with my cards. And over the previous day, I'll be trying to think, okay, who's the 2 people tomorrow I want to write a card with? You know how easy it is to write a card? Marilyn, just want to take a moment, thank you for the cup of coffee last week. I'm glad to hear everything's going good. Keep me in mind, Ralph. Okay? 2 minutes. If you don't have your database and you don't know Marilyn's address, how long does it take you to do a card? You won't do it because you don't have it. That's why the foundation is so critical. Okay, I'd encourage you to do the notes. Schedule 2 lunches or breakfast per week. God help us if we take a past customer out for a cup of coffee. Okay? But that's what Ninja is. You take them out, you buy them a cup of coffee, you ask the questions. If you're a golfer, you take 4 past customers or 4 people on your Ninja list to play golf. This is the cost of Ninja. It's the cost of the mailouts. It's the cost of the coffee. It's a very low-cost program. Okay? 2 lunches or breakfasts this week with prospects looking for referrals. Okay? Schedule 2 one-hour sessions for paperwork cleanup. You know, with Monday, with being locked in Mount Pleasant, not getting to my office because the bridge was closed, Terry and I spent 3 hours. My office looks great. Okay? 2 weeks from now, you know what my office is going to look like? Like it did on Sunday. Okay? I got to do this because I can't get organized unless I'm doing it. Okay? Schedule 1 or 2 one-hour sessions, paperwork cleanup, mention that. Schedule 1 hour to review your customer list and compare with 15 reasons why people want to buy real estate. Okay? This is a mental exercise, and in the package is 15 reasons why people buy. We talked about a lot of them: job transfer, children, downsizing, retirement, okay, separation. It triggers your mind on what's going on in people's lives that I may be able to generate some business out of it. Okay? Again, this is working on your business. Okay? Visit 50 people a week and ask 4 questions. Ralph, 50 people a week? I can't do that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Billy Joe, 9, 10, 11. I've had 11 people walk into this office. Okay? And I've only been here a little over an hour. So I've already done 11 of my 50. You can't not see 50 people a day. Okay? Here's a secret. You do it every day. You have your name badge on. Liz, I knew you got your.
No.
Okay.
Amazing. I always do.
I know somebody out there has their name badge on.
Probably these. No.
You have your name. You have your name badge on, and you go out intentionally. When you see 50 people, you ask 4 questions. Okay. Some of those people will be people that are on your list. Your dry cleaner, your grocer. Some of them may be new people you want to add to your list. Okay. And we all, myself included, have had people come up, and I've generated business because of my name badge. I've generated business because of my car signs and magnet signs. Okay? Today, I don't wear my name badge. I don't wear my car signs. Why? That's stupid. That's found business out there. Okay? But 50 people. Build your, this last item, number 12, build your mailing list of people you know to a minimum of 200 people. Send them something of value, and this says once a month. Okay? And I would encourage you, again, I mentioned 3 times a month. That's hard for me. It's hard for me to think I'm sending Sammy, who's a good friend of mine, 3 times a month somewhere. Okay? But I can do it once a month. That's 12 times a year times 200 people. How many contacts is that? Do the math real quick for me. 12 times 200. Where's Boyd when we need him? Okay? That's more than we're probably doing now. And when those people get something, they say, I know Ralph. Let me see what this is. Okay? So it's not just to throw out there something. It's something of value that they look at and they spend some time and energy with. Okay? Questions on this? Last part of this page, the weekly routine, and this is what I believe to be true. And because we've been out and seen it in Colorado, I know it to be true. They proved it to us. If you have 200 people on your Ninja database, okay, that's the possibility of $200,000 in GCI every year. Okay? Now, here's what's going on in Charleston. Charleston has a transition rate, okay, and it's something that the federal government keeps up with. It's called transition rate, which are people moving in and out of the area. Okay? National average is 14%. Okay? Charleston is 18% last year, or 2009. Meaning that 18% people move in and out of Charleston every year. That's a big number. Okay? Theoretically, 18% of your list moves in and out every year. Okay? So if this generated 18 sales for you, what would that do to your income? Okay. Now that's not any found business. That's not a buyer call. That's not someone walking through an open house. That's off of this. So you can see we're 200,000. Okay. Last comment I'm going to make, and then we'll go move on. Study NAR did, and this is very enlightening to me. Said the average buyer out there in today's world takes between 3 and 9 months to buy a house. Okay, now that seems long to me, but when you think about it, when people start thinking, they're not verbalizing to anybody. They may be talking to the wife, they may be thinking about it, maybe looking online, 3 to 9 months. Okay? If you've got a Ninja group and those people are in there, you've got 3 to 9 months to interact with them. The average buyer in a marketplace takes between 24 and 48 hours to buy a house. Okay, excuse me, let me change that. 24 to 48 hours to make a decision on the agent they're going to use to buy a house. Do you see the disconnect? Okay. Why is Ninja so important? If you're not top of mind to your group of 200, they will go out this weekend into a new home construction model, the dreaded new home subdivision, and they will sign up with a site agent. And I had one of my very advanced agents this week tell me, well, Ralph, why wouldn't they call me? Okay. If you're waiting for your people to call you, find something else to do. Okay. Because if you're not in flow with them, they're not thinking about you. And it's not that they don't like you. They're not in flow with you. That site agent who's right there with the contract and the incentives, and it's an emotional decision, they're going to buy from that site agent. If they go in an open house and you're not in flow with them, They're going to buy from that person in the open house. Okay? Does that make sense? That is so critical, and it shows the importance of why you have to be in flow with people. Okay? And we've all had this. We've all had times when we kicked ourselves in the seat of the pants because we've let someone go, and then we call them, and what do they say? Man, I want you to be so excited for them when we found it for sale by owner. Okay? And we get mad at them. And then we look and say, well, when was the last time I talked? Well, I talked to them 6 months ago. I saw them out at their cousin's wedding. Well, shame on us. Okay. I think we're winding this down. In the package, there's reasons to call. We talked about there. They're called sellers, updates, active buyers. There's a whole lot of information that we'll get out to everybody that was on today if you didn't get the package to give you this information. Okay. And then the last page here is the 15 reasons why people buy or sell real estate. Okay. And it's a trigger. Okay. Are we going an hour? Is that right?
No.
Okay. So I'll finish up. Let me ask a question. Is there anything new here? Has anybody heard, other than maybe the unsolicited CMAs, is there anything new? Okay. Do you feel like you wasted an hour?
Yeah, this was great.
Okay. Let me put the secret sauce in this, and this is where I want to finish. I'm going to ask a question, and I'm going to change gears completely. Let's say our model was open houses, okay? And that's how we got our business, doing open houses. And as a broker, I would tell you, well, if you're going to be in my office, you are going to do 2 open houses every week, okay? Now, the question I want to ask you, if you're doing 2 open houses a week, and so 52 weeks a year, 104 open houses, will you make a living next year doing that? Don't know.
I think you will, because you'll pick up a lot more prospects and new business that you may have just overlooked.
Okay. So twice a week, 3 hours a week, we don't know. Okay. There's something in real estate called mastery. Okay. I'm going to speak a little bit louder on here. I've got this written on the board. Mastery. Okay. I can tell you without doubt that if you became a master of open houses, okay, and did 2 a week, you would make a ton of money in real estate. Okay. Because you become a master of open houses. What's that mean? Somebody wants to do an open house. A new agent does an open house. Here's what they do. They go to their broker. Broker pages out, okay, anybody's got an open house they want to do? Okay. So a good listing agent will say, yeah, I got an open house. Okay. What is the open house that agent's giving that new agent? What are they giving the house for? Seller pacification. I'm giving Marilyn this house to do, and it's in the back of Long Point subdivision, 9 signs off the main road. Okay. But I need it open. And this new agent, I'm going to sucker them into doing it. When you become a master open houses, okay, you pick a house that is on the road 2 signs away from the main thoroughfare. So you put 2 signs out, and people can find it. That's called mastery. Okay? If you're going to do 2 open houses, you're going to become the student, the study of open houses. You're going to know everything about them. Okay? And then I would say, well, let me get a foreclosed open house. Because I put foreclosure signs out. People love coming to foreclosed open houses. Okay? And then I'd have a list of foreclosure houses, and I'd get somebody. And then I'd take the names. And then I'd create a follow-up site. And then I would go out to people and I'd say, let me tell you what, I am the open house master in Charleston. I do 104 open houses. Okay? And then I'd get a truck and I'd say, open house man. Okay? I'd be the only one in town doing it. When you master something, you make it successful. What does that mean to us today? We can take this Ninja, okay, and we can say, well, Ralph, that was good, and we can go and put this on our desk and forget all about it, okay, which everybody in the room will do, okay? You'll do it. It might take 1 or 2 things. We all now have some new knowledge, right? Maybe not new, but fresh to us. I may have said something today, I knew that, but I forgot that, now I know it. Okay, so today I've given you knowledge. Okay. Mastery is about taking that knowledge and developing skills. If you sit in seminars your whole life and you never practice anything, you never achieve what we call mastery. Okay? Ninja is all about becoming the master. Okay? Figure out this ninja, learn as much as you can. Okay? And I got to tell you, let me tell you how human nature is. We went to a 4-day seminar in September. I told you about that. I had not touched any of this stuff since September. I got all the stuff, okay? And I said, I know it all. With Liz's prompting to do the class today, I went back online. You know what's happened? They put new stuff out there. And I didn't have time. I said, man, look at all this new stuff. So if I just leave it alone, I never get the knowledge and never apply the skills. My encouragement to you today, take this knowledge and develop the skill set. Okay? The skill set is doing your weekly planner and mastering your prospecting time. The skill set is saying, I am going to talk to 50 people a week. The skill set is I'm calling 10 people a day. Skill set is I am getting my database of 200 people. And I'm going to know more about those people than their mom knows about it. Okay? That's skills. We know we need to do it. Are we going to do it? Okay? So that's secret sauce number one. Secret sauce number two is something I call specific and on purpose. Okay? We all do this. This is how we live our lives. Okay? We interact with people at the grocery store, in the office, at the dry cleaner, at the church, out at social occasions. This is what we do. We talk. Okay? Some people we don't talk to as much and we don't like as much, but the people we care and have concern for, we really dig down deep. Yeah? We visit people in hospitals. Okay? Nothing new here. What Ninja preaches is specific, and on purpose. Okay? If you don't take this and come in every day and work your plan every day, this will not work for you. If you come in and say, I'm committing to this weekly routine, okay, and you do it for 4 to 6 months, you will have more business and you'll see more opportunity than you've ever seen before. Because I can look around this room and I find myself in this group, we don't do this. Okay? And when you become a master of something, see what I've got over everybody in this room and everybody listening, I've been to Fort Wayne, Colorado. I've seen the people there master this and become successful. They've been doing it for 25 years. Their per-person productivity in Fort Wayne, Colorado is through the roof. Okay? Their agents out there, the 8 agents that talked to us, the minimum agent last year, 2009, $325,000. The minimum agent. Top agent over $500,000 in a down market. Because they're working on purpose and they come in every day and they do it. Okay, that's secret sauce number two. The last thing I want to share with you, and we'll get it out, is this weekly tracking log. Okay, and I'll get this out, but what it is, it's 5 sheets of paper, and it's where you log in your 10 phone calls a day. Okay, you log in 10 calls a day. You got one? Pass it down there. So every day there's a line. On Monday there's 10 lines there. You make 10 phone calls. Okay? And up on the top it's got family, occupation, recreation, dreams. It's reminding you of what to ask about. Okay? So this is where you hit your warm calls, your hot calls. This is where you make your phone calls. Do I leave a message if I don't get a body answering phone? Yes. Okay? And I'm doing a new twist to this. I'm now emailing and texting. Texting to me is the newfound craze. I can have an agent I'm trying to recruit, and I can call them 4 times, not get an answer. I can email them, they'll email me right back. I can text them, and they'll text me right back. Okay? So look at opportunities to make contact. Have something of value to talk about. Okay? So that's why it's so important to know what's going on in somebody's lives. Okay? This sheet that I've got for the weekly tracking, it's got the 10 personal notes each week. Every Monday through Friday has 2 lines under it, and those are the people that you wrote your 2 handwritten notes to. The handwritten notes will absolutely, you'll be amazed about that. Because, you know, we have a generation today that doesn't know what a handwritten note is. Okay? They don't. They don't know. Okay? There's something special. When was the last time you got a handwritten note from somebody? Christmas card. Okay. You don't get handwritten notes. We don't write notes to each other. Okay. It's a newfound art form. Okay. I'd encourage you to do it. And what you'll get is phone calls, but the vocal people will email you. Thanks for my card. Because they're going back to the default. This is big. Okay. Here's something I do, and I don't do it enough, but I like it. I find out that you're a boater. Love boating, speed boats. I'm in a doctor's office. I got Motorboat magazine sitting there. I'm reading while I'm waiting on the doctor's office. There is a new article on this new 500 horsepower Mercury engine. Okay? It's the newest, fastest thing out there. I look around the doctor's office and no one's looking at me. I rip that sheet out. Okay? I fold it up. I go back to my office and I write you a note. Thinking of you, saw this article. Okay? Man, you give them something of value. A gardener, a dancer, a world traveler. There's magazine stuff about everything, but there's something endearing about getting that and saying, Ralph took the time. Okay. Now, Susan Henderson, an agent of mine, she said, Ralph, I tried that. I couldn't do it, but I went up and asked the receptionist to copy it, and she copied it for me. Okay? So if you can't steal it, okay, which I don't know if that's stealing or not, ask them to copy it. But it's an eye-opener. All right, it's a winner. So 2 handwritten notes. Last 2 things, and we're finishing up. 3rd page back is a page for your appointments. Okay? If we do all of this, and we don't have appointments, is it working? If we're friendly to people, we care and have concern about them, but we don't have appointments, have you been successful? No. Okay? So obviously this page has got to have some activity on it. Okay? You can't force appointment, but you can certainly go and have a cup of coffee. Okay? And so many people think, well, my appointments are my showings and my listings. Your appointments are your coffee, are your lunches, are your breakfasts. And I encourage you to look at your database and find people that you can interact with. Okay? I want to say one thing that I forgot earlier. The role of an influencer in your life. Okay? Not all of your 200 people are people that go buy and sell for you. Okay? Would you want the human resource director of Boeing in your 200 list? Okay? Well, Ralph, she just bought a house 2 weeks ago. Would you still want her on your list? Yeah, what is she? She's an influencer. Okay? She has the ability to be a mover and shaker. Okay? The receptionist or the paralegal at a divorce attorney's office, is she an influencer? She may be more of an influencer than the attorney. Okay? And one of the guys in Colorado, he said, every week I spend $4.29 on a, call it some type of frappe latte at Starbucks. And he says, I take it to this lady. And it was a lady in an attorney's office. And he said, I walk in there, I set it down, I say, good morning, I walk out once a week. He said, I can tell you that thing has made me more sales. Okay? He said, I don't do it, sometimes I forget. He said, but it's the best value I've got, and she sends me more people because the attorney says, who do you know? Okay, because that attorney doesn't have anybody. He knows the attorney, but he doesn't buy the coffee for the attorney. Okay? Look for influencers in your lives who can help you with something. Okay? Last thing, and this will finish up on this, the last sheet here is something called 8 and 8 Tracker. Number 8 by 8 Tracker. What this is, and this was something we just did for the last, up until Thanksgiving, we did it in Goose Creek and Somerville. It is taking 8 people in your 200 people database. Okay? So you just randomly pick out 8 people. Okay? And you find something of value for 8 weeks that you are sending to them. Okay? So these 8 people, every single week, you're sending something to them for 8 weeks. Okay? There's a heightened awareness. The success stories that we can tell in Somerville for doing this will blow your mind away. Had a lady, Julie Wells, who's up in Sumter, moved down to Charleston, been with me about a year. I love her to death. She's your typical real estate agent. If I tell her to do something, she's online. Julie?
She's
Okay.
muted.
Here's Julie. Last week, she came in and she's got a listing up in Somerton. Okay? She told me she did 4 weeks of 8 and 8s. Couldn't get to it. Okay? Got a listing for her. Jim Hall, very productive agent up here, who's taken this Ninja selling to heart, can show you 2 or 3 listings by the 8 and 8. Okay? Susan Henderson has found people, okay, through sending out the winterization of your house, by sending out the get ready for your winter lawn comments that we have. Okay? You've got to send something of value. and you do it 8 times over 8 weeks. And then on the last week, you call them up and say, can I take you out for a cup of coffee? You have primed them, you tenderize them. Someone will call you, okay? I did this. I've done this twice now. No one calls me, tells me not to stop sending stuff because it's good stuff. It's stuff of value, okay? And what I do is I'm sending it to agents I want to hire, so I'm sending neat stuff in front of them in the marketplace, okay? Questions, comments, either online or in the room?
I got one quick thing I want to share with you, what happened to me recently, and to tell you how simple you overlook things on. You're talking about boaties. I just sold my 24-foot Key West boat. I advertised in the paper, parked in the front yard for a sale sign, had a few calls. Went to the bottom shop several weeks ago and I put a little print out, put it on the board where everybody put their business cards. Got 5 calls, 6 man, number 6 bought it. Okay, then this morning, I bought a house at a foreclosure. I went to the floor saying that I could not remember the man's name. So I asked my 81-year-old mother, I said, Mom, can you remember the man's name? She said, I'm going to the beauty shop and his card is on the board. So I called him up and told him about the house, and he called his card when he does the closing. So it's just a simple thing about, why didn't I think about that 6 months ago, you know?
This is all about interaction,
Simple thing.
getting in flow with people. It's nothing more than that. And the last comment, any questions there?
No, well, let's see. Oh, they just requested the handouts, but Vicki Blackwell just said thank you very much.
Okay. Here's the last thing, and I will tell you this, because again, my biggest fault is when I sit down with people, I want to talk to them, and I want to keep talking. Okay, when the time's over, I haven't asked any questions. Okay, and I see that today, but I'm now cognizant of it. One of my best friends in the world is a guy named Richard Cushman. Okay, when I was 14 years old, my mom and dad started a new church up in Somerville. Richard Cushman, for 35 years, he retired 4 or 5 years ago, was my pastor. And I knew him through my young years, through my high school, through college, through my first marriage. Today, once a month, we'll find a time to go get lunch together. Okay, he is the neatest guy I know. Okay, he is the excellent ninja seller. You don't even know it. He's a ninja. Okay, but he's also a pastor. Okay, every time I'd sit down with him, I'd come out feeling so good about myself. And I never realized that until I got into this. Here's why. When we would sit down, and when we could sit down today, you know what he does? He asks me questions. Ralph, how's it going? What's going on? How are your parents doing? What are you doing for fun? I mean, he's got this script down to a T. And I feel so good when I leave him. Okay? And even to the point that I try to turn it around on him. You know what he does? He'll answer my question. He'll get right back on me. You know? I mean, it is so neat. If you ever get to that point where when you do something for somebody, they come out and say, wow. You know? And that can be, who was I? I was talking to Shirley Trainer last week, out delivering these calendars that we order every year. I said, Shirley, what would happen if you went out and put another $50 with it and put cookies with it? Okay? Would that make a difference? Yeah. What happens if you got a client and they had young kids, 8, 9, 10 years old, and you sent the young kid birthday cards? Would that make a difference? Yeah, you know it would. Think of ways like this. These are ninja items. Find things that make you different and differentiate you so people think of it. Because all this business is, I mean, 18,000 people bought or sold houses in Charleston last year. How many do you want? Okay? Make yourself different, make the people feel good, and be top of mind so when they have a real estate need, they're thinking of you. Okay? Thank you for your time, guys.
Everybody says thank you very much, Ralph. Thank you, everybody. Talk to you later.
If you want